welcome you to Pebble Beach for this 100th U.S. Open.
It's the most dominating performance in major championship history, period.
I don't think we've ever seen somebody compete like we saw at the 100th playing of the Open.
You're the man!
It was simply remarkable that one individual was so much better than the 155 other players.
The U.S. Open, it's so hard and it's so easy to make a mistake. And so for Tiger to do what he did is without a doubt the greatest performance in golf history.
Wow, it's just not a fair fight.
That's pretty much the biggest shot I remember is him hitting that. I think it's number 6 hitting over that, and everybody like freaked out about it, but it was a hell of a shot.
No, it really isn't.
It's as close to perfection as any performance in 4 rounds of golf because of where we were, what the elements threw at him.
Good night.
I think in terms of golf history, it's probably the greatest championship that's ever been played.
It all came together for one magical week, so I gave him something good to watch.
When you're a kid on the golf course by yourself and you have 4 balls out there, one might be Arnie, one might be Jack, one might be Hogan or whoever, and one is you. And you're playing for the U.S. Open every afternoon.
The U.S. Open is golf's toughest test. That was its moniker. That's what the guys knew going in.
And so when you are able to play in it, that's a huge accomplishment. And then to win, it's as good as it gets.
The good U.S. Open players will figure out a way. It's the ultimate in grinding it out, never giving in, and just hanging in there.
The Open in 2000 was much anticipated for a variety of reasons.
The 100th U.S. Open, Pebble Beach.
It was meant to be the 100th U.S. Open. I'm pretty sure this is Jack's last major he played, and Tiger's passing of the torch.
Has a very, very special ring to it, and here we are.
It was my very first time in the tower, in 18th Tower, in a U.S. Open. And so I was pretty nervous.
How many times have we seen Jack Nicklaus save his best drama at the finishing hole?
You had Jack was saying goodbye to the majors.
It was his 44th and last U.S. Open, a guy that was just synonymous with that championship.
Payne Stewart is the 1999 U.S. Open champion.
This was the first U.S. Open since Payne Stewart's tragic death. And
I was not aware. I thought it was a couple years after, but that's pretty crazy. That's
of course,
terrible.
he would have been the defending champion.
To open the event and honor Payne in his memory, they had all the players hitting balls into Stillwater Cove.
There was just a lot of emotion swirling around this tournament even before it began.
Allen.
Going in, all of this glare was on Tiger, yet we didn't really know what we were going to see. We'd seen a lot out of him already. We'd seen him win U.S. Amateur Championships.
Another Tiger comeback completed, and with it, golf history.
3 in a row. No one had ever done that. We'd seen him win a Masters by 12 shots. Now what are we going to see? Because this is the real deal on a tough, tough track.
For all the firepower that Tiger had and all the grind, a lot of long hitters have never been able to prosper at the U.S. Open. So we still weren't sure what kind of U.S. Open player he was going to be, or if his game would translate to a test like Pebble Beach.
I think it translated.
Looking forward to playing one of the golf courses I truly loved, but more importantly, that my game was really dialed in, right? And it was just a matter of pacing myself to where I was ready.
Beautiful morning for golf, very little wind. Golf course very receptive, a lot of good scores.
Tiger Woods having a fine first round on this Thursday.
The first round of the 2000 U.S. Open, the course played a lot easier than expected. There was a lot of moisture on the greens and the fairways, and when the greens are softer, even at the U.S. Open, the players can attack, and that was what happened on that Thursday.
Watch out, could go in. That was easy.
When you have players in good form and he's excited and ready for the situation, you just can't wait for the first round to keep going and get it underway. You could see he was in good form, confident.
I It's not pretty form on the attire there, Tiger.
And it was going to be, a good tournament.
It was a statement, no question. I mean, Tiger came out and said, I'm going to play this golf course the way I can.
I love the way this young man putts, I'll tell you that. Puts it in the hole.
There was just an ease with which Tiger played the golf course. What's interesting about that first round is there's no one shot you point to and said, that was amazing. It was just a lot of really, really good shots and a lot of strong putting.
Really hard to describe, Dan, just how good that shot was. He had to play it under the tree, land it in the long rough, and have it jump out.
Let's go to 15.
I really do believe, I get this hunch that Tiger's going to break every U.S. Open record this week and win by maybe a big margin.
Wow, Johnny, that's quite a statement.
I guess Johnny called it. He could see it.
Right when he said it, I looked over at him as if to say, are you crazy going there right now? We're in the first round. This is a little early.
I know he said it on the air later on, but I think I gave Johnny a little of that information.
Not a particularly easy shot here. He needs to negotiate the mound on the right side of the green. He has left it below the hole. Another great play.
Little did we know, not only was he right, he probably understated it, which is crazy to think at this point.
He was hunting the hole.
Well, when he gets that one in, Johnny, it will be an incredible round of golf. It was a picture-perfect round.
Be kidding.
The course definitely started playing tougher in the second round. Greens are getting a little more raggedy, the rough's getting a little longer, and by the second round, it's a little harder golf course. That was when Tiger really kind of put the hammer down, and the shot that everyone remembers, of course, is out of the rough on the 6th hole.
If you drove it in the right rough, you had big problems. There's a large cliff that you have to loft the ball up and over. Every player that had been in the right rough had to pitch out left short underneath the hill.
He's got 202 yards to the hole.
Tiger wades in there and he grabs a 7-iron, and man, he's going to try to get it up on top of this hill. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is big risk.
First of all, he's not thinking about laying up. And second of all, it's a 7-iron. Is that enough to get there?
When you're a caddy, I think it's like being an on-course psychologist. You need to try and read a guy's mind and saying the right thing at the right time and not saying something at the right time. When Tiger was quiet, that always was a confident feeling I got from him. And that certainly was the case that hole. You just knew that if there's any chance he can get the club on the ball, he's going to do it.
That tree wasn't going to come in play. I had a good enough lie where I felt like I could squeeze it up there and I could catch a hot one. I came down steep enough, I just knew I could get the little flyer out of it.
The swing he made at it was vicious.
Look at this.
It's just not a fair fight.
No, it really isn't, Roger.
202 yards out of the rough, up the hill, 7-iron. You're right, Raj, it's not a fair fight.
I couldn't think of anything else to say, but it's just not a fair fight. And it wasn't. Other guys couldn't do that.
It's one of the great calls in golf history because it was one of the greatest shots in golf history.
Well, look at the smile on his face. Look at the smile on Steve Williams' face. They know he's the only man in the field that can do it.
When you see a guy hit a shot like that, it's very special to watch. That's just coming from a golfer, son. I mean, that's just an unbelievable shot.
That shot on 6 wasn't as hard as people thought it was. I just open up a 7-iron and hit as hard as I can.
Fortune favors the brave sometimes, and that's an example where fortune
wasn't hard for Tiger.
Favored the brave.
Tiger for his tap-in birdie. Tiger Woods back to 7 under par and back to a 2-shot lead.
As he's walking up, horn blows to conclude play, but Tiger can still finish the hole.
Play was suspended a few moments ago because it's not a dangerous situation. The players have a chance to finish their hole.
I had the pace of the greens, and so I didn't want to come back with freshly cut greens with them rolled as well and have to relearn the pace.
Tiger has a chance to end the day at 9 under and leading by 3.
No chance he makes this. Come on.
Are you kidding me?
He makes that 35-foot putt. It was like a walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. The ultimate punctuation mark to a really hard-fought round. It was like, guess what, guys? This is what I'm going to keep doing.
We forget because we did run out of golf balls and I wouldn't be here sitting talking to you today.
So Tiger Woods now for bogey. So he follows up the 65 with a 69. Tiger's halfway home, what could turn out to be his first U.S. Open championship.
6-shot lead, and there was Jesper part of it.
Good of imagination that guy had.
I only had 64 yards to the front. If I could carry 64, it might roll all the way there. If not, just leave it short of the green, 2-putt, move on.
I think that's just a great example of Tiger's incredible athletic ability to build a stance and have the imagination of how to hit that shot.
Well, I'm telling you what, this is absolutely brilliant, Johnny. Wow. Brilliant play there.
It's almost like I dare you to give me a situation that I'm not able to handle. Anybody else wouldn't even think about trying to get done.
You think about Tiger in 2000, everything in his game was so strong, but what separated him from most other players was just the creativity and the fearlessness to try a shot that no one else would even conceive of.
You can practice certain shots, but the innate ability of Tiger Woods to create things on the fly, that is amazing.
Speeching on the Lord, but I will say this.
Jesus!
Want you to subscribe to White Mamba.
And Moses!
Also want you to subscribe to White Mamba. That's impressive.
Not only to get it to come out, Johnny, but to get it to come out straight and to get it to come out the right distance.
When it first came out, it looked pretty good. They landed on the green and released up there to the hole, and Stevie said, you know, this is an important putt. You need to go ahead and bury this putt.
It only warrants being a great shot if you make the putt. If you don't make the putt, well, it's not a great shot.
Unbelievable. Pretty good
In the heart.
there.
How many times can you say it? How many different words can you use to describe it?
Tiger.
And it has just been brutal at Pebble today. 18 holes left for Tiger Woods in his quest to be crowned the 100th U.S. Open champion. An even par round of 71.
On a day like today, we'll take
10-shot lead over Ernie and Miguel Angel Jimenez.
even par, won't you?
Oh, I'll take even par and run.
It's a fascinating study to watch Tiger in these tournaments when he has a big lead.
What motivates you to play a good last round when you're so far ahead? Anything that you can find.
And back to 6.
Tiger Woods, second shot. Roger?
211 to the hole.
Tough line, huh, Roger? Got to hit it right over the edge of the cliff. Line shot.
This is a 5.
5-iron.
This ball is hanging out to the right just a little bit, trying to turn back. Well, bounces right. I don't know if that stayed in the grass
I don't think
or got in the
so.
bunker.
I think it stayed in the grass, Roger. This is going to be another one of those very awkward lies.
I wanted to have a day where I made no bogeys. Now, that was my goal from the beginning of the day. No bogeys.
He plays a game within a game. The game that day was not to make a bogey.
Tiger is drawn a horrible life.
That's more important to him at the moment than win the US Open trophy, you know, because that is the goal that he has set himself for that day.
Wow, that came out very quickly, much quicker than he anticipated, and he's really got some work left. Good shot, only about 12 feet of green to work with. Yeah, nicely done, but still a good 6 feet or so left for his par.
No one hates bogeys more than Tiger Woods. We've been covering him since he was a teenager, and I think
That's not true. I know a guy named Larry Legend. He hates bogeys.
he gets more out of saving a par than he does making a birdie or an eagle sometimes.
Safely in, great up and down, great save. Lead remains stands at 8.
It just speaks to his doggedness.
Back out to the 10.
Tiger Woods for birdie.
The record for lowest overall score in a U.S. Open is 12 under par.
This looks good here.
Yes, sir. Tiger Woods to 9 under par.
But you're thinking maybe he could win by 13 shots.
Over to the 12.
Just a towering shot, Johnny. What a beautiful looking golf shot.
Advantage Tiger.
That was the genius of Tiger, is he was always in the moment and he never ever let up.
Double digits.
He wants to make every putt. He wants to hit a great shot.
Back over to 13.
102 to the hole. Sand iron, this ball going right at the flagstick. Wow.
Is this really happening? Is this really happening?
Play some golf, young man.
Tiger with a 12-shot lead. And now the birdie attempt at 14.
I mean, he is going nuts. This is
Request history by Tiger Woods. 12 under and an open.
What a back nine he's having.
4 birdies and 5 holes on this back nine at Pebble Beach in the U.S. Open.
Just to watch him push forward, it was a monument to who he is as a person, as a player, and the mastery he had that week.
At the 16th, Tiger Woods getting ready for his second shot. Be interesting to see if he can control the distance coming out of that intermediate cut.
Oh, why? Get down! Down! How about that flag, huh?
You know the tournament is over. I mean, you can afford to drop a shot, but that's not the way he thinks.
Not a very good lie. Ball sitting down, John. The grass is kind of twisted. One of the few times he really just kind of hit it in the spot. He couldn't do much with it.
no chance he makes this, saves par.
Well, you got to know how badly he wants this putt.
He's grinding if it's the 72nd hole, and you cannot help but admire how he is putting so much into that putt because he doesn't want to make a bogey that day.
Lowest score ever shot in the Open, 272. He is on pace to tie that right now if he were to par in. So this is a huge putt.
Tournament's already over, but I wanted to accomplish my own goal at the beginning of the day, and so that meant a lot to me.
It wasn't about Jack Nicklaus's career record. It wasn't about the U.S. Open scoring record. It was about making this putt.
This is not another 15-footer. It's a putt that means the world to him.
How about it? Oh, my goodness. You see that look of determination when that ball went in the hole?
He makes this putt. You get the fist pumping. Wow, you think Tiger's not into this and doesn't want the records? Look at the reaction. So after it's all over, they interview him. He says, well, my only goal for the day wasn't to make a bogey. Hello? You know, you think he wasn't thinking different than the rest of us? You know, I mean, we really were thinking that this was his chance to make the greatest statement made by a golfer maybe of all time. And that would be forefront in his mind. Nope, just didn't want to make a bogey.
Tiger Woods, he's got the records in his sights.
And Tiger at the par 5 18th needs a birdie to set the all-time scoring record in a U.S. Open. Is there a greater setting than the 18th hole at Pebble Beach and having a guy walk up to that par 5 72nd hole with that kind of lead? Being my very first time in the tower, I just remember sitting back in my chair and thinking, if I'm lucky enough to do a lot more U.S. Opens, that's great, but I'm never going to see anything like this again.
There's no more pressure. It's a time where you sort of reflect a little bit on the great accomplishment.
Shot, Tiger. Beauty, mate.
for the credit for the history. We have been talking on the last call.
From a caddy's perspective, to be part of that and watch that close up and see 72 holes of unbelievably good golf, you know, it's just special to be at.
Roger, what do we have?
123 yards left of the hole, John, and this is, well, not a full pitching wedge for him, just a nice one.
On his way to his third major championship in a gallery which sensed the moment for quite some time.
Tiger never lost that poker face until after he hit his third shot onto the green. And then finally, he just let everybody in. And you could see the joy and the relief. And of course, he and Steve Williams had the typically bad high five. That was vintage as well, because golfers are horrible at high fives. It was just a great walk up that last fairway that the Tiger earned and deserved.
It's hard for someone who's never been there to really understand the overwhelming feeling that you would get on the 18th hole, and the setting is what helps make it. I mean, it is one of the most dramatic holes in golf, and then a U.S. Open with a young Tiger Woods. I mean, it was amazing.
All that hard work as a kid, college, amateur golf, hands bleeding from practice, rain, cold, it's all worth it now. Every minute was worth it for that last 15-minute walk-up.
Telling Stevie walking up 18, I said, you know, I've had a sense of calmness that I haven't had in a while. I felt very tranquil, very calm. I felt very peaceful.
That would soon change.
That championship trophy awaits. The only question, will it be a new U.S. Open scoring record total? Needs a birdie to set the all-time scoring record in a U.S. Open. Is there one more record left in his magic putter?
There was probably some disappointment because he'd want to break the record and have it be there for a while. But to win it by 15 shots and win a major championship by 15 shots, that's just unheard of. And it'll be a long time before that record's broken.
And Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history. The record margin of victory for any major championship. Before today, it was 13-shot victory in the British Open back in 1862 by old Tom Morris. Golf hadn't even begun in this country back then.
When he signed a scorecard at the completion of the tournament, the very first thing he said to me, so tell me what was the deal on Saturday, the 18th hole. And I explained to him, and you know, oh, you're a beauty, you are.
Please join me in welcoming the 2000 United States Open champion, Mr. Tiger Woods.
Can you talk a little bit about the significance of winning the 100th U.S. Open championship at this beautiful venue?
You know, coming into this event, you know, that's what I had in mind. And this is the, well, I'm honest.
Tiger tied the record for lowest score in U.S. Open, 272.
He tied for the most strokes under par at any point in the U.S. Open, 12.
Is this
Phil was on the leaderboard.
the best single golfing performance you've ever seen?
Well, maybe take it another step farther. It might be the greatest in history of sports.
You have to change your thinking about what's even possible across sports to compare it to what Tiger did.
Unbelievable.
This is Wilt Chamberlain scoring 100 points 4 games in a row in the NBA Finals. You know, I mean, this is Bob Beamon jumping out of the stadium. Forget, you know, the sand pit.
Wow, is this really happening?
How great do you think you are? How great do you think you are still to be as a golfer?
Well, it's not exactly easy for me to answer. I put together, from tee to green, all aspects of my game. And it all came together for one magical week. I have never played 4 days like I did at Pebble Beach.
Let the Tiger Woods coronation begin officially.
He's here, and it's now.
People were saying, hail to the king. New king.
We say a lot of things in the heat of the moment, but 19 years later, it's by far the best 72 holes that's ever been played in the history of the game.